The Apr where Andy works was set up in the 1960s, a time when people started production couldn't keep up with population increases.
Well, what we had in the 60s was a agricultural production that was pretty basic, really. Many parts of the world were very low in terms of their productivity level. Pests and diseases were a major concern. And so there were a number of books that came out kind of predicting this point where the planet was going to exceed its carrying capacity in terms of delivering food to so many people.
Back then, scientists, charities and governments joined together so they could coordinate a response, and they decided they should focus on one thing: increasing crop yields.
So if we're going to have enough food that we produce.
Starting with fields like rice and wheat, projects were set up to see if scientists could more grain, allowing you to get more food from a single field.
So you have crop breeders planting hundreds and hundreds of different varieties out there, seeing which ones are doing best.
Then they'd cross-pollinate strains, matching the best plants with the best plants to see if they could grow a new generation, bigger and better than those that came before it. The work became known as the Green Revolution.
In many cases, it's not just like looking for the biggest grain. For example, one of the big solutions that the Green Revolution gave were plants that wouldn't fall over. What you needed is a rice plant with the architecture to be able to actually hold all of that grain up. In the space of about 10 years, they doubled yields. And there are studies showing that it's saved millions and millions of lives, essentially, from hunger, from nutritional deficits.
One of the researchers, Norman Borlaug, was even awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970 for his efforts.
So it was a huge solution. It was a global effort that produced global level impacts.
The Green Revolution moved agricultural practices forward at a rate that had never been seen before and hasn't been seen since.
Population is catching up with us. We don't have the capacity to produce enough food on the amount of land we have available right now for that 11 billion people that is being predicted.
We're running out of the small but significant changes which the scientists of the 1960s were able to exploit, and the future population growth we're facing is much larger.
And then you have other problems creeping in, the issues of climate change, for example, where that's making it harder and harder to produce that amount of yield on these agricultural fields.
Andy's not predicting a but he points out that we rely on a fragile web of connections to take our food from field to table. It wouldn't take much to break it.
If you have one major heat wave in central Russia, for example, you're going to see spikes in the price of wheat and barley, and so then that means bread is more expensive.
And we've already seen some examples of what happens when food prices rise.
In 2008, it was a little bit of a perfect storm. It was multiple issues in different parts of the globe, and so those combined created a lower supply of certain major cereals. And then a lot of speculation kicked in.
Commodities markets panicked and the cost of food went up.
It threw a lot of people into poverty, especially in urban areas. It created violence, it created unrest in many countries, and that, I think, was a wake-up call for the world to see that food isn't just automatically delivered to the supermarket at affordable prices.
In the past, global cooperation has allowed us to greatly increase our food production. But today, we're under greater pressure than ever to grow more food. And Andy thinks this time, there's no easy solution.
Everyone is looking for this silver bullet, and my take on it is that there is no silver bullet anymore.